Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Stott and I'm the Emperor of Stomaria. Today I want to give another progress report for Southwood, a Stomarian province. So as you can see, I have been very busy today pulling out all of the debris, all of the rubbish that is still stored on the woodland, because we want, as I said before, to minimize everything. We want to burn everything, we want to recycle everything, we want to get rid of everything that is not going to be essential to advancing the interests of the actual province. So over here obviously we have Southwood and Wayward South, which I'll get to in a minute, but you know, as you can see, everything is very minimalistic. We have one shed, we have some water butts, we have some compost bins, and then obviously we have the rhubarb, and in between all of this we have the clover, which I shall highlight again in a moment. But everything else is surplus to requirement. We don't need all of this stuff, and so it is going to be removed off of the land. We're going to go through it and recycle what we can, dispose of what we can. I have started to create a fire pile down at the bottom there by the fire pit, so we'll have a look at that in a moment, and I will show you what I have been clearing out to make some more space for some additional communal area that we are potentially going to be utilizing for some kind of tourist industry, which we'll start talking about a bit more seriously a little later on in the year. So as you can see, there is a lot of stuff that has had to been pulled out of this land, and this is really the thing is, it's the tip of the iceberg, because I have taken out tons and tons and tons of rubbish beforehand and had to pay hundreds of pounds for people to come take it away, but it just never seems to stop. It's because before we bought Southwood from Wayward, you know, if you've seen any of the photos, the video footage of what was here before, it was very roughly put together, thrown together with whatever they had at their disposal, and you know, that has been the case for many years before we bought it. So there's just been an enormous build-up of rubbish, frankly, that we just do not need, and so we are doing our best to try and clear it out as much as possible in order to basically finish off the land, because once all of this is gone, once we've set up the new layout, then we will be ready to establish a very small tourist industry of sorts, and that will be the final thing that we intend to do here for the foreseeable future. We have obviously the rhubarb and the raspberries and the grapevine and strawberries and things like that, but it is mostly the rhubarb, obviously, which, as you can see, is doing extraordinarily well. There have been a few plants that haven't taken, but I think on the whole it is undeniable that this has been a truly successful year for this rhubarb, and it is, as I say, only the first year, and we don't intend to actually harvest any of this, because as I understand it, you're supposed to leave it to fully establish for the first year, and then for the next 10-15 years or even longer, these perennial plants are going to yield far healthier crops for us, and we're going to be able to really utilize the rhubarb in a more serious way. And you know, I don't think fully appreciate just how much there is of this rhubarb, and I'm very excited to be able to do something with that from next year onwards. Now, as for the clover, as you can see, it's maintained its thick, luscious stance, so it's in between all of these rhubarb beds and all the way back here, and it is difficult to remember sometimes what was here before. We obviously had the chicken pen and all of the wire and the cabling and all the rest of it, and this is just far more appealing. It's undeniable that everything has just been improved dramatically over the last couple of years, and it's great to see. Now, in terms of what's going on at Wayward South, that is something I'm very keen to highlight, because Wayward has started to sow some clover of their own. Now, it does take a little bit of time for the clover to take hold here. It certainly did on our side. If you've watched any of our previous footage, you'll know that it did take a while to get to this point. So it is going to be a case of seeing how much can grow in the next few weeks and months, potentially putting some more down later on in the year, but maybe more likely next year at this point, because there are certain times which you're supposed to try to sow the clover, and I think that window has very much closed for this year. But as you can see, the clover is growing, and I think this time next year the entire woodland, or certainly the areas which we have seeded, is just going to be one big ocean of green, and that is very exciting to see. Now, what I have been doing today is pulling out all of this. So these items here are things that I require King Roll to have a look at, because none of this is actually anything to do with us. It's just storage for Wayward. But what I will do is I'll highlight quickly what we have been pulling out, or I have been pulling out. So this area, and I will show some footage in a moment of what this looked like initially, but you could not see the back of this. It was literally just wall-to-wall rubbish, piles and piles of it. And I've painstakingly gone through it all to try to tidy things up, organize everything, and just get everything ready for removal. And I can tell you that this was one of the most unpleasant jobs that I have ever had. And I tell you, I have had some unpleasant jobs before. So as I said, this is all being pulled out, and eventually this will be potentially opened up a little bit. This will certainly go, this fence in here, these toys need to have a bit of a sort out as well. But I'm just trying to get rid of as much as I can, because as I say, this is really the last major hurdle, the last major job that we need to complete before everything's finished. So once all of this has been emptied, we're going to be relocating the log pile down that way, and then we are going to be getting rid of the duck pen and pushing back further there. We're really going to be opening up the land a little bit more. As I say, it's principally because of this tourist industry that we're going to potentially look to establish towards the end of the year. And I am trying to resist the urge of discussing it too much, because nothing has happened as yet. But we are just getting everything in place in the event that we are in a position to pull the trigger in a few months' time, or potentially even before that. So I think that's, broadly speaking, all I wanted to cover, because I have a lot more work to do, as you can see. All of this needs to be burnt, get rid of that. All of this needs sorting out at some point in the cabin there, the storage shed, if you like. There's a lot of straw bales in there and lots of other things in there that we need to sort out. But I think I am going to leave Raoul to handle that one, because I think I've done plenty as it is for the moment. And I do have some other jobs to do back at home. And so what I'm going to do, I think, is leave it there and get back to my work. If you want to learn more about Stomaria, or play an active role in our development and expansion, visit our website at www.stomaria.com and find out what it means to be a Stomarian.